lot, you quite like it? Well, it's nice to see you again this year anyway, you know. I mean, it makes a change for me to have somebody else on the farm. You come down and sit around singing songs and that.
Come on, I'm enough.
Annie, I've got your present. Don't show anybody, or tell anybody where you got it from.
Go on, get your rotten nuts. I lost the argument, didn't I? I lost the argument. She's only got me nuts. Your father wants you.
No, I should have been working instead of there talking to you.
Go on, get off, Jack.
See you on Monday. Have a good hopping season, all right?
She's got me nuts. She's got me nuts. It's not fair, is it?
I came down. First here, first served. That's it.
I'll learn next year, Laura. I'll beat you to it next year.
I know. Well, you can have next door. We'll be
Oh,
neighbours.
Well, seriously, actually, I know we're rowing a lot, but we always row, me and Laura. We've been keeping this up for years. We are quite good friends. Laura's been going up picking for years and years. Haven't you?
Yes, since I was a little girl, smaller than what you are. Much smaller.
And this is our cookhouse where we always do the cooking. What are you going to put in your pot tonight, eh, Laura?
Yes, and do you know where we used to cook like that? We used to put nice bits of rabbit. Sometimes the men used to come round what we called home dwellers, and they used to live near the farms. And so they used to go out and get the rabbits and kill them. And then we used to put the rabbits in there. Don't you? And potatoes. Have you? Oh, well in those days people used to eat them because meat was expensive. Yeah, but we used to cook there, and then sometimes we used to have a big dumpling in there, great big dumplings with the rabbits.
Dumplings, I like them.
Do you? Yes. That's right, lovely big stew. And it used to be, we used to have a top on top of that then, and we used to have to keep putting the fire there. And then sometimes in the evenings, when we'd finished having our meal, and we used to have a jamboree going, the Salvation Army people used to come round, and we all used to be singing songs around the fire, around the campfire. And we used to play the jamborees, you know, all them, do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, tambourines, yes. And we all used to start singing, and then often then in the evenings then we used to be putting potatoes on the hot stones round the fire, yes. And we'd have them all nice and hot and lovely, and turn them over, so that when we finished singing in the evenings we'd have nice hot potato there to eat as well, for our supper. So we used to do very well down there, and eat very, very well. Lovely stews and everything, and the lovely potatoes we used to have, and they used to be all lovely and crisp on the outside. Really beautiful. Yes.
You're getting them all on again. I mean, it was nice in the cookhouse because we'd stay up quite late, wouldn't we?
Oh, yes, yes.
And having a good time, because it was just like, well, I suppose it's a bit like going camping, isn't it?
Yes.
So what we did do, talking about going singing, is that we all learnt the hot picking song, didn't we?
Yeah.
Would you sing it for Laura?
I'll put it.
I think we've got two copies here.
Open.
You got your
No,
one between two. Lousy, I don't believe it's true. We only go down hopping to earn a bob or two with a T-I-O, T-I-O, T-I-E-I-O. Every Monday morning, just at 6 o'clock, you'll hear the hoppers calling. Get up and boil your pot with a T-I-O, T-I-O, T-I-E-I-O. What are you doing? Just keep it going. Keep going where the monk will mouldy cheese with a T-I-O, T-I-O, T-I-E-I-O. I'll murder you. Keep going with this old thing. With a basket to measure out a bin with a T-I-O, T-I-O, T-I-E-I-O.
And
Oi! What's going on here then?
Singing.
Singing, is it?
Yeah.
Where are the parents of these children?
Yeah.
Where are the parents of these children? You're responsible for the behaviour of your brat, you know.
We don't brat. We don't brat. We don't brat. Don't call my son brat.
Annie. What are you doing up there?
Cleaning the roof. She's cleaning the roof. She's been scrumping. She's been polishing.
Oh, she's been scrumping it. Let me tell you something. You just sit down and shut up.
She's been scrubbing the roof.
I'll have you know.
She's been collecting sticks.
I'll have you know that I'm your measurer. As such, you're to respect me because you owe your jobs to me. Oi! Give me those apples. I thought as much. Quite right. Someone has been scrubbing. You get down here now.
She's been scrubbing the roof.
Where's the mother?
There.
You should keep an eye on that one, missus. She's no good.
She's been scrubbing the roof.
Going into the orchards, breaking down the trees. You don't even know how to pick apples. Look what you've done. You wreck orchards, you know that, by doing that sort of thing. You cost the farmer money. Money which I think you should be made to pay back.
I got his payback.
Hush.
I'm going to earn some money.
Young mister.
Sorry, I got nothing. Oh well. Yeah, but she didn't
Let's see if you are going to earn any money
Don't
this year.
upset him, don't upset him.
I shall take this opportunity to read you the rules and regulations for the hop garden for this year. I know full well some of you have heard this many times before, and I've told you many times before as well. My job to tell you, your job to listen. Now, hands up this year's pole pullers.
Adult men. I was the men in the family.
What's all yours? Come on. Right, hands down. Hands down. Now, you pole pullers. Hands down. Goodness me, how are you gonna be a pole puller if you can't work out down from up? It's all about down and up, pole pulling is, pulling the edge down. Now be quiet, listen to this. Now, here we are. Your wages this year are to be 5 shillings per day, or half thereof, in proportion to the time you are employed.
Okay.
You are to furnish hops to 10 bins. You are to attend the pickers, to see that they pick their hops well, and to pick up all hops from the ground. You are to get down any heads that are left on the wires. You are to attend and assist the measurer at all times. You are to fill the poke sacks and to carry the same when full as required to the lorry. So last warning to you, pole pullers. At the commencement of any strike, your wages will cease. Now this is pickers. The tally for this year is to be 6 bushels per shilling. How many bushels per shilling?
6.
Oh, good, you have heard me, so we'll have no argument later on. All quite clear, you understand 6 bushels per shilling, very good. You are required to pick your hops well and to the satisfaction of the farmer. You are to be on the hop garden from 7 a.m. every morning when the call to work is given. You are to remain on the hop garden throughout the duration of picking and must not leave without consent. Now, fair has nothing to do with it, young man.
It's
the terms these are the terms you're in. That's when you get up in the morning. It's an hour's work to get your stuff ready and get down to the hop garden. Unless you expect someone to carry you there in your bed, I suppose. All right, all right, all right. Got a bit of respect for the measurer here, shall we? Now, having accepted the rate of 6 bushels per shilling, you are all to remain in this hop farm until the season is finished. Anybody who leaves before the season is over will be paid off whatever they've picked at half the agreed rate. Anybody wishing to be excused from the hop garden due to ill health must give me a certificate from a local doctor. General rules and regulations. No one to enter the hop garden till the call to work is given. No one to pick hops during the lunch hour. No person, listening Rose, no person to enter the orchards. Anyone found stealing fruit, farm produce or damaging farm property will not only be dismissed, but this year will be prosecuted as well. A general reminder for all you cockneys, which I seem to have to give you every year. No fighting, no quarrelling, no abusive or immoral language. Understood?
Okay. Yeah. Understood.
I want to see nobody on the hop garden till I give you the call to work this morning, which will be my voice. In his wisdom, my farmer has appointed you hopping governor again this year, Rose. Here are your account books. In there will be kept a record of what you pick. Guard it well. You lose the book, you not only have to pay me 3 pennies, you also, of course, will lose the money for any hops that are tallied in that book. That is the record of what I measure. So look after it. No one on the garden, so I give you the call to work. Good day.
Annie, you come here. Come here. Now. You, I want to murder you. How many times have I told you about your scrumping, eh? How many times have you got me into trouble? Did you hear what he said? What do you mean? Oh, him. Do you know, last year, farmer caught her scrumping. He threatened to prosecute me. He was going to send us up to Maidstone Court. I'd have had to pay a fine. £5. That's more than we ever earn hop picking.
You're going to have to stop it, Annie.
Next time I'll just make sure I don't get caught, so there.
Right, where's the heads of the family?
Oh, Freddie, Leander.
Where's the mums? Where's the mums? Let's talk to mums about this. Right.
Which family are you again?
Richardson's. Webbs. Where's the Webbs?
Over there. No, it's a whip.
Where's the mum?
Where's the mum?
Where's the mum?
Over there.
Mum. Mum.
No, that's not the whip. She's not the whip.
Surely you know by now who's the mum. Poor old mum, there you are.
Let's show you some colours.
Right.
Oh, yeah, it's covered.
Anyway, later on, actually, we'll get down the Oxford. Later in the morning, when the sun comes up, it gets warm. It's lovely down there, it really is. I'm not picking anywhere near you, that's for a start. Right then, I think we're going to have to get ourselves sorted out to go onto the field.
Be careful who's falling.
Right then. You know the measure said we can't go on till we get the call to work. We'll come and line up.
This way here. You can line up this way. Go through there. Right, you want to line up and go through that way. Now follow round that way.
Right, are you ready to go on the hot field?
Yeah.
You can have a look in the hot pot later on. Now remember you lot, as I said, no fighting, no romping, no quarrelling, and no...
All to work! All to work!
Yes! Or wick. Or pack.
Don't touch anything.
Until you are told. Understand?
No.
Good.
Do you want it?
Someone's forgot their coat, look.
Boys, can you come round here, please? Bit more space around the front. Come on. You'll be able to see, those of you who sit at the back, you'll be able to see a bit closer later on. No, just sit down. Right.
These oxen are good roads to shear, aren't they? Look how small they are.
You see, Laura's done a lot of hot picking. She can spot a good hop from a bad hop, can't you?
Oh, these are terrible, aren't they? Midget hops, look.
Tell us
Take us
about,
all day, this is going to pick these.
tell us about what it's like on the hop field. I'm just going to show these others that can't be very close.
Well, when we used to come on the hop fields, we used to have to get up ever so early in the morning and the hops to get to them. And we used to have to take all our things up on the hop fields.
What did you have to take?
We used to have to take a basket with all our sandwiches in to eat all day long. And big kettle there to put on the fire when we got up the field, because once we got up on the field we couldn't come home at night. Till night. Well, we used to be picking all day long until 1 o'clock, and then the man used to blow his whistle, and then we'd have to break for dinner. But we couldn't go home for dinner, so we used to have our sandwiches on the hop field and make a big pot of tea with condensed milk in it and sugar. And then we'd sit all day. Well, if you're picking hops like this, look, if you pick a few like that, now you smell your fingers now. And we used to have to eat our sandwiches with that smell all the time. Oh, and it was horrible. You smell. Oh. But we didn't mind because we used to enjoy it, because we used to have good fun in the evenings when we used to get home from hopping. And then the man used to come round and measure them. You see, Rose is going to show you what the measure he used to do there.
You see, the thing is, well, we've been going on about this problem about the hops. So sit back, you better just sit back and look at the others thing. Sit down. Sit down. The thing is, do you remember what the measurer said was the rate? Six what?
6 shillings.
No, 6 bushels for a shilling, you're right. Now, this is a bushel basket. And what he's going on about is he comes along and he measures out the bin. This is a bin, this is measuring out the bin. And he measures it like that, And that's 1 bushel basket. Now, what we've agreed to is we're going to pick 6 of these baskets before we earn a shilling. And what Laura's going on about is the state of the hops this year. See
Look
this?
how tiny they are, look. You'd have to pick an awful lot of hops to get one of
They're
those
like
baskets.
peanuts, aren't they? Peanuts, they're
They should be as big as your thumb.
acorns.
Sometimes they're as big as your thumb, like that. You see, that's a lot different, isn't it? I mean, pardon me? Yes, well, some of them are big, but not all of them. But you get like these. Look how tiny these are. And if you're going to pick a bushel like that, you'd have to pick hundreds and hundreds of those, wouldn't you, to fill that basket? And you've got to fill 6 of those baskets. Haven't you?
How long does it take?
Takes ages, dear. A long, long time to pick all those.
Yes, and leave the hops at the minute, just put them back in the bin. Because it's not
leave them
fair,
there for a
not
little
enough
while.
for the others.
That's
That's
good sugar.
Laura's bunch you got there.
There you are. That's good.
So
sugar.
listen, how long do you think it would take us to earn 1 shilling?
Hour.
That's right.
A day and a half.
No, about 3 hours.
Yeah,
It'd take
3
you to pick all those, wouldn't it?
More?
Yes.
So what do we reckon? Do you think we're going to be able to earn much money? Don't lean with it because it's breaking a bit. Do you think you're going to be able to earn much money this season?
Not with those sort of hops.
What are we going to do about it?
There's an over street.
You want 2 shillings? What 2 shillings for what?
No, you might probably get 2 shillings. 1 pence for each
No.
basket.
What, you mean you're talking about changing the race? Is that what you're saying?
No, if you could have your... They may have just leave them.
Sorry?
It'll probably take you a while to fill 2 up.
Yeah.
Yes. Because they're only small hops, so I...
You want a penny a basket?
A pound about
you
the
don't
same.
know.
I think if we only ought to
He said,
do
yeah,
it for
5
4...
pence a shilling.
We ought to do it for 4 bushels. I think we ought to stand out and try and get 4 bushels
4
for a
bushels.
shilling. Instead of doing 6.
What do you reckon? What do you lot reckon?
Where's the poll pullers? What do the poll pullers think about it?
You don't get enough money.
No, you don't get
So you
enough
want
money.
more money?
Yeah.
But if we go out and strike and then you don't get paid, you poll pullers don't get paid then if we go out and strike. Are you all agreeing to stand out if we go out and strike for more money? Will you stand by us?
Yeah.
Will you poll pullers stand by all the hop pickers?
Yeah.
We're in this together.
How many are we going to pick then?
Well, we...
How many bushels shall we ask for? How many?
2.
No.
We fill 2 baskets, will we?
3.
Shilling.
3.
And then how much? 3
Three.
baskets, and how much will we get then?
Well, we're going to pick... They reckon we should pick 6 bushels, didn't
Now
they?
you
for a
see, he
shilling?
said 6 bushels for
I
1
don't
shilling,
think we
didn't
all
he?
No, it's not worth it.
No.
It's not worth
okay,
it.
no.
So he's offering.
How many for a shilling? How many bushel baskets?
What was the rate?
2 baskets for 1 shilling.
2 baskets for 1 shilling.
2 baskets
Do
for a shilling?
you think he'll ask for that? Because it's quite low, isn't
I
it?
don't think they give us that.
It's a big jump, isn't it? What do you think?
Yeah.
I reckon myself that they'll only give us... If we get 3, we'd be lucky. If we can
Should
knock
we?
it down to
Yeah,
What
3.
about 3? Should we ask for 3?
Yeah.
3?
3 bushels.
3 bushels for a shilling.
Instead of
So
6.
that's half.
That's half. Do you think
We'd be
they'll take
lucky.
half?
We should.
We'd be lucky if
We
we
might
get
have to.
that.
We might have to haggle a bit. And maybe it'd be 4, but at least it'd be better than 6.
Yeah, it would, wouldn't it? So we'd be earning
on,
less.
Freddie.
Yeah, right. There comes
Oh,
Misery now.
Oh my
Comes
goodness,
now then,
he's
Rose.
here.
Here comes
He's here.
the
I was
best.
wondering about this basket there, and it's something.
Let's stand together on this.
We were just having a little talk, actually, Mr.
Yeah.
Where's the
Williams.
post There's no post come on. What?
When
We've got something to
Yeah, what's
say to
been
you.
going on this morning?
Yeah.
Well, look at
You not
them.
been working or what? You've been sitting around talking.
No, we've got something to say.
Where's some poll polish
Yeah.
coming over that post
Hang on a minute. This person here wants to have a word with you. Go on.
What do you
You
want
tell
to
him.
We reckon it should be 3 baskets, 3 bushels for 1 shilling.
I can't believe my ears.
Maybe 4.
When we met this morning, before the call to work,
Maybe 4.
what did I set the rate at?
6. But it's
And that's why you accepted, wasn't it?
That's not worth it.
Have you seen the size
So
of the
what's
box?
changing now?
Yeah, look at the size of the hops.
What difference does that make to you?
It's too small. It's ages. It takes too long.
Have you done any work this morning yet? You've not?
Yeah.
You've been sitting around cavaricking.
That's right.
You're telling me that you want me to pay you twice what I agreed this morning? What gave you the right to say that?
Fancy
Look at the size of that.
Look at the odds.
Look at the size of that hop.
What do you companies know about ops
Look
anyway?
at the size of that hop.
Look, do you want me to measure these ops or not?
Yeah. 3
So at 6 bushels a shilling, I'll
No,
measure
no,
them.
no, no.
Listen,
I
that
don't
way.
think
Did somebody mention the word strike?
Yep.
Poll pullers, what happens if there's a strike?
We don't get paid, but we're standing by the figures.
Congratulations regarding the morning. You understood clearly it was your duty to attend and assist me at all times.
That was exploding now.
Because we're seeing the
Also, the world changes with you, doesn't it?
Yeah. We never saw the ox
You're
So none of you pickers want to earn any money today, and neither do the poll pullers.
Do you know what I think we should do? I think we should stop picking the ox now. We should stand up and fold our arms and go up to the top of the field.
I'm warning you, this is an official strike, there's no money for any of you.
We've said three.
We said
So we
three,
can say
didn't
three.
we?
We'll have to
We
stand
said
by
three.
three. won't we? And we might have to pick four.
If you won't take that, it won't work. Is that it? Right. What about the poll pullers? What about the poll pullers? Are you going to stick with us?
Yeah.
We need one person to do it. You, love. Right. You stand here and let's the rest of us fold our arms and let's listen to them to what's happening here. Go on, love. You go forward. What are you asking for?
What's it to be? Three what?
Let's just stand here.
You want me to pay you a shilling to give you 3 bushel baskets of hops? Don't you all think the farm is generous enough to you already? You come down here, gives you a place to live, job to do, gives you wood faggots for your fire, sometimes even brings you around vegetables, fruit perhaps. You mothers know that's true. You know you've all benefited in that way from the farmer's generosity, and now you've got the cheek to try and hold him to ransom.
Yeah.
What gives you the right?
Everything.
Why did you come down?
The size of the
Why
hole.
did you come down? You weren't ready, didn't you? To pick hops. Are you telling me you're willing to leave these hops on these vines?
Yeah. We didn't know how big the ops were.
Do you care if there is a hop farm here when you come back next year?
No.
You don't care? So you'd be quite happy if my farmer was to grub all of these up, to be no more hops here, and you lot could just stay in London and earn no money at all.
We go somewhere else.
Well, I never think about that if I was you. I've come here today to offer you, which is a very generous offer, 5 bushels per shilling and no more. I suggest you decide whether you want to be a farmer or not. All right.
Ask the bush.
I have never seen such an unruly mob in all my years as measuring. I thought you lot were rough, but this takes something new. You think a shouting match will solve this? You have no care for what's happening here, do you? You've got no interest in the hops whatsoever. What would you really know about hops? You come down here for 6 weeks every year, and all of a sudden you're all experts on hops, are you? You people amaze me. It wouldn't surprise me if in years to come, your greed today, your greed and your stupidity, would mean we don't want people to do this anymore, because it's too expensive. My farmer's not going to make any money after this. But as you all know, the season's... I've seen a hop before. I fear I've seen rather more hops than you have. Will you just be quiet, stand over
We're
there?
not going near these hops, are we? No.
These weren't picking.
We'll get them sorted out. Let's stay away from these hops.
Well, you all know that we're nearing the end of the season here. We don't get these blinds stripped, my farmer will lose even more money. Cunning that you are, I suppose you know that. It has empowered me to offer you 4, which is what you'll ask. I will ask you to think about what you've done today. Think about its implications. As to whether you will ever want to come hop picking again.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Well, greed and selfishness won't get you there, let me tell you that. Also, it won't surprise you. It won't surprise you to know that having stood around all morning now, prevaricating, discussing and arguing, you've wasted an entire morning's work. So the poll pullers haven't earned any money, and neither of you pickers. And it is now the dinner hour, and as I told you before, no picking during that time. You can have your 4 bushels of shilling, but I expect to see some work out of you this afternoon.
Here's a jolly good fellow.
Sit down.
And so say all of us. So say all of us. And so say all of us. For he's a jolly good fellow. He's a jolly jolly good fellow, he's a jolly good fellow, and so say all of us.
You stay here so you get a chance to look at the exhibition again and look at the hot pot. Laura's going to stay and chat to you for a bit so you can ask her any questions you like about what it was like to be a hop picker and how she used to go hop picking. And she can also have a look at our hut, only a few people at a time in the hut, it's very small. And then the third family, the Kelseys, you can go into the other half of the centre, which is an exhibition as well. It's not about hop picking, it's about how people lived before the wars. It's about the same time as we've been talking about. And also the shop in there, we can get snacks and we can get new sweets and stuff like that. So everyone has 20 minutes in all those three areas. And if teachers, if you can work out the revolving thing, I'm sure you'll be better at it than we will. Right, and we'll see you back in the other room where London was at 1:30 altogether. Thanks for working very hard this morning. I hope you get a good break. Right, so the first lot, the Webbs, are going to come back with me and a teacher.
Oh, just come out. I'm going last. I'm going last. I've got some.
Yeah, look.
Can't all get in there. Glenn, get up there. No, we won't.
Yeah, no, that's sticky, and that was all flies used to stick on that.
Yes, I'm waiting till last. So I can
No,
sleep.
and then when it used to be like this, it used to be dark, so we only used to have a candle, look at night time.
Oh, look, who's kittens today?
And those little lamps.
Is that a
Little
photograph?
oil lamps, that is. And then if it was ever so wet, you know, in the evenings when we used to come home from holiday,
Go in there and just took the light.
no, it was bigger than yeah, it was bigger than that really, dear. It used to come out to about here, right along here, and to along there. And it used to be all there, and we used to have to put straw in it. You know those big packets of straw, what you've been sitting on out there? Well, that's what we used to... Yes. Yes, we used to have to sleep in here and do everything
Just
in it.
open it now.
Oh no, not in here now. No, I don't sleep in here now. But then when we were little children, we used to with our mums. And then at weekends, the dads used to come down as well, and the dads used to stay in here as well.
How did you stay in the house?
Well, my mum had 7 of us children at that time. Well, we used to come hop picking, and my mum as well, so there'd be 8 of us all in one hut.
Just fill the straw on this.
Yeah. There you are.
What is
Don't
that?
touch that, dear, because that's the fly catcher, what we used to have to catch all the flies on. Because you used to get... That was a fork to do our toasting when we used to want to do our toast by the fire.
Don't
You see
touch
that
it,
now? And then we
Glenn.
used to... I can't pull it now, but sometimes you used to go to pull that.
Candle, it's bent.
And that was our toasting
A bit
fork.
like you, Glenn.
And then see this little thing here?
What's that?
This.
Is that a fireman's hat? A fireman's hat.
That's a postman's hat.
What's that?
Well, that was a hard brush. What we used to have to do our sweep like this, and so you used to do this like that. Get all the dust out.
There's your letters.
Right. Yeah. And you see this? This is what we used to put our tea in when we scrubbed the fields.
Yeah, the fly's still getting to that.
Yes, well, I don't touch it, darling, in case it falls down. There's a good girl. I don't know if it's still sticky now because it's very old now.
I don't
Is it?
see
Yeah,
it.
well, the flies would stick to it, love,
No,
wouldn't they?
teeth,
No.
look.
Yeah, well, don't touch it, love. Don't touch it, dear. There's a good boy.
It's stuck to his
Yeah,
fingers.
it's a big Louis, because that's what they used to have, didn't it? In the olden days. Just see our plates, what we used to have dinner on. All tin plates. And we used to have to come down with all our old cases and pack them up underneath there as well.
I'll sleep up there. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, what, do you want them to sleep out here now, do you? This is alive, this is alive, yes, this is alive. Yes. Yes.
I asked him to do my shed down the bottom of the garden because I don't like get that all
Yeah, this is what we used to put in the beds and our pillows. And do you know who else used to sleep on the straw bed? You think, yes, but think right back. Think back in your Bible. Who first slept on the straw bed?
Jesus.
That's right. So if it was good enough for Jesus, it was good enough for us, wasn't it?
Yeah. I'll tell you
All
what.
right.
I've heard that saying before somewhere.
Have you? Well, that's what the hoppers used to say. When we used to go down and we slept on our bed of straw.
Where did you try to go?
Where do we have our bath?
I spent a penny.
But did you take the tin down and go in there and have it in there?
Yes, when we on the Sunday mornings, the mums used to get that big bath down, and you'd get buckets of water like this to fill it up, because you only had one tap at the end of the field. So you used to have to get the field, go and pick up buckets of water.
If you
That's
spin
it,
it, it'll
love.
probably stay still.
Yes, put it there, love. And you'd have that down there, and then the mums would do the little kids first, put the little ones in there first. All in that hut, right? Wash your hair in it, wash the kids in it, and then gradually they will come out. So the next lot would go in with another kettle of hot water, would be put in that, to gradually put into the big ones. And those big ones, they would be standing there, never washed them. Well, we had one toilet at the end. Well, there wasn't only one, but there was about half a dozen toilets at the end of the field, like the toilet there. Open the tin door and a bit of wood, and they come round and lime it. Put lime in every morning. It was really rough there. It was really rough. But at the same time, we were kids and we enjoyed it, you know. And no, and the mums now had no holidays. I mean, I didn't have a holiday till after the war. I was 27 when I'd never been away on a holiday, only hopping. But all through the years I was in service, I still wanted to come hopping. I still come hopping every year.
To get to the fresh air and everything.
That's right, and it was a freedom of the place, you know. Weeks and I used to say, well, I've got to go away because I want to go hop picking. And that was my holiday, to come down into the hop fields with my mum and all my sisters and brothers.
Was it always that time? Was it always the first 2 weeks of September?
That was the start of it, yes. Yes. And it's according to the weather, how long it lasted, you know. I mean, sometimes it would last for 4 weeks. If you had a good season, you would be out picking.
6 weeks.
If the weather was bad, it would last 6 weeks, dear, because you couldn't pick because of the rain. But if you had a nice summer and you picked all the hops quick, it would be finished in 4 weeks, you know.
I'd rather stay 6 weeks.
6 weeks, you thought it was?
I'd rather stay 7 days.
Oh, if you were down there, it was lovely. We used to enjoy it. And
Did
all
you
the
go every
children-
year?
Hmm?
Did you go every year?
Did we have nits?
No, every year.
We didn't have to, but everybody wanted to go every year. And if we didn't go, there was always other people waiting to come hop picking. If we said we weren't going this year, other people would want to go in our places because that was the only holiday we had, love. Nobody went. If we went to the seaside, we only went for 1 day to Southend only. We never went. Nobody ever went away on 7 days holidays or anything like that. No.
Makes you think how lucky you are.
I'm a farmer. I'm a farmer.
So that was the only way of like getting money to pay for rent and things like that.
Well, when you come away, you know, like my mum just come away. It was in September. So everything used to all like the money. You had to sub the money. If you come away, like you start picking on Mondays. On Wednesdays, you'd be able to sub some much money, or Thursday. But you were never allowed to sub as much money as you'd earned, so that you could stay. You know, you wouldn't
Did
come
you
up.
come back with money though?
Yes, yes.
You always, cause
Always came
it all
back with
seems,
money.
yeah, you sort of pay here and sort of sub
Always
there.
came back because I mean you tried not to sub while you were down there. You know, the dad used to send money down there, but it used to be good. You know, I mean for us kids it was good fun. For the mums, it was a freedom of the. No, it was freedom, love, because all the mums used to sit all along their vines and all start singing and be happy down there. Yes. And they used to get away.
that when we go
It's a bit
camping.
like, you know, a bit
Yeah,
like
it's a camping, yeah.
Yeah, we got our own tents. We don't do
Well, when you go.
We got our own tents.
When you go camping, who do you like, you know, when you go down there? Do you have fun with all the children in there? They
No, I
got
take
things?
them from school.
Do you?
Yeah. Next year I'll be taking him.
Oh, well,
And him.
and do you get other children go down in
Yeah,
the
because
tents?
I'll have my own tent.
Well, there you are.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
it.
that'd
So
be
we
good.
used to be in our hop huts.
Yeah, that's what we do. We've all got our own tent.
How many people would actually live in there? The whole family?
Yes. Well, I mean, like us now, when my mum used to come down, there was 10 of us in our family, but the 3 oldest ones never went. They were already working
I
when
know,
we started
my mum
going.
had 10
So I
in
was
her
the
family.
oldest.
Oh, right.
So my mum had 7 of us,
All
and
slept
herself
in,
all there.
all in there?
There, yes.
The tent was bigger though.
Big. It was bigger than that. It's all wider, and the bed was wider. But it was, I mean, like you're saying, we had to do everything in there. And if it was raining,
Is that your clothes?
that would be our clothes. That we had to dry our clothes, yes. Yes.
Are you here hot? My mum had 10 in her family.
Pardon me?
Are you here hot picking or are you just here to talk to us?
No, explain it.
I'm telling you, I haven't been hop picking now since 1947. That was
Do
the
they
last
still do
time.
that?
No, because they've got machines to do the hop picking now, haven't they? And that's where people have lost out, because all the Londoners used to, that was the only holiday we had. So when the war ended and the machines came, they didn't want us Londoners to go down hop picking anymore,
How
did
do
they?
people sort of get money?
I know,
Where they got that as like they went there and
You'd
that's
break
how they got
the
their money
sheet.
then?
How did they
once it had stopped and they got the machines, what did people do for sort of...
Well, by that time then everything else in work was started coming on after the war, wasn't it? I mean, everything changed during the war. I mean, all the machinery came to take over. But then women started going out to work, didn't they? People didn't have so many children anyway, did they? I mean, on my time then, I was after the war, wasn't it? I mean, my oldest daughter was born in 1940. So, I mean, really, after the war then,
Excuse me,
we grew up.
this is Joan, and Joan was a hot picker as well. So I've just brought her in to join in the chat. Laura,
Yeah. Yeah, we could probably tell them some more about when you were hot picking the different farms.
Oh, if they ask questions.
Yes.
Was it just one place? Or was it just all scattered?
All over Kent, different areas in Kent. And when you go down there and you see the oast houses, if you ever see them, you know that there was hop fields around those. I mean, they're all now being taken over and made museums, aren't they? And people buy them as private houses. But in those days, there would be hop fields all around those.
How did people know where to go?
Well, when we found out was when I was at school. My friend asked me to go hop picking with her mother. And my mum turned around then and said, well, find out where she goes and give us the address, and we wrote. So we found out the address and we wrote to, my mum wrote to the farmer. And from then onwards, every year you wrote to the farmer, you know, the same farmer.
And they only allowed so many people?
That's right. You only had so many huts down on the field, so there was only so many people allowed from each hut, sort of go down
which
there.
farm did you go picking on, Joan?
Whitbreads, Seltrin.
Whitbreads was a lot posher. They had
yes.
brick huts, didn't they?
Yeah, well, brick
Just explain-
downstairs, two-storey. Brick huts downstairs. The upstairs part is corrugated iron, and then you'd have a sloping roof like this, corrugated, but you had a window in it, a skylight, which was marvellous because you could see through the stars at night. During the war, they painted them black, so you couldn't see out of it then because of the lights.
It's quite luxury.
Oh, it was luxury.
Yeah, it was
But Whitbreads was
luxury.
the best farm.
Yeah,
Whitbreads was the best farm of all.
We used to have the Salvation Army there. They had a big hut, and they had great big hot water tanks, and you paid a penny, and you went over there with a towel, and you had a bath for a penny.
They were posh.
Yeah.
They were
You see
posh.
kids queuing up every night. Or you could go and get big jugs of hot water. It was all supplied by Whitbreads. We had flush toilets. They built great big brick-built flush
How
toilets.
did you get into to know about that?
Well, that was your generation. I bet your mum went from generation, didn't
Yeah,
she?
it was generation.
But she handed down then. You couldn't get into
It was just
Whitbreads.
family. It was always family. My grand's ticket came from a sister. Her youngest daughter took it, my mum's youngest sister took it when my grand died. And she married a local guy and went to live there. She became a country boy. And so my mum took the ticket to take my sister and her two boys. Because by then it was like a holiday really. There weren't very many pickers. Most of it was done by machinery. They had very few hand pickers and you had to be a good picker to go. And you had to be able to pick clean. My gran was a very dirty picker.
That's what I'm saying. See, when I was telling you
Used to
about the
take-
leaves in there,
Yeah, she used
you
to
weren't allowed to
tie-
have the leaves. That's what
Do
Lady's saying
do
there.
they sort through them baskets, the bushel things?
Yes,
Oh,
and if there was too many leaves in them, they wouldn't take them, would they?
Take your measure.
No.
My gran used to tie one piece of her bin up, and she used to coax me to go pick hops. I used to pick hops, no leaves. Very fastidious child. And then, when it was measure, when someone would call out measurers coming, she used to undo that, shuffle hers, and put it over the top. She used to bribe me, with a bar of chocolate that night, or a comic. Because my gran was a widow, she didn't have a lot of money. She would bribe me to pick on her bin. Yeah, well, they used to. They used to have a comic,
I've got those.
And what about when they used to come around, the Salvation Army used to come around and evening with the magic lanterns, didn't they? They used to come around in the evening with the magic lanterns and show us, have little films in the field, didn't they? And we used to sit around the campfire then, and then everybody would be singing, It used to be really good, didn't it? It was a good...
Can you imagine it being quite good? Like everybody would sit down and they've got their fire. We do that when we go camping. We don't see.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you saw people that you've grown up with generation after generation, and you saw them once a year.
That's right.
So you caught up with who was buried, who was alive, who was gone. Everybody's business once a year.
Like the whole.
Yeah, well,
So
like,
we went
if-
with my gran. We went with my grandmother, and she was a widow, and she had 4 children still at school. My mum used to go with her
I think they're
because she
finished.
had a two-tier hut, you see, and you had to have sufficient family. And she would take me and my sister. When my father's young brother died and left a widow with 4 children, she had 3 daughters. My mum took those 3 girls as well. So she had 5 of us.
Do you do it for a certain, till a certain age or whatever? You just do it.
No, you just
Kept
went.
on, didn't you?
Yeah.
If you had your holiday, you took your holiday down there
Yeah,
too.
we took
well,
it all.
did.
That was our holiday. Was 4 to
Even
5
though you were
weeks.
working, wasn't it?
So
There
no
were-
matter what age you was, you went down there and that's. You didn't have to be a specific
No.
age to
No,
do it.
no.
Oh no, the year the war broke out, one of my mum's young sisters came down with the baby. He was only 4 months old. We made him a crib in an orange box and took him out in the fields and it.
We used to let them sleep on the vines, didn't we, in the field? Do you know when you pick the vines,
Yeah.
you like that?
Yeah.
You would lay them on the corner of the field and put a blanket over that and lay the baby in
Babies,
there.
yeah.
And the baby would stay all day in there.
That's what.
Oh, we took out that an
Yeah,
orange
that's what
box.
Mum said.
Did
Oh,
you?
sure.
Yeah.
You see, it was easy to carry. Prams were great big ugly things. You didn't have carry carts. My mum went and got an orange box, put pillows all inside it, and we put the baby in there because he was only about 2 months old. Covered him up in blankets, only about this big. See, orange boxes were great big
Was it
things.
boring though? I mean, to do the
No,
same.
we used to.
No.
We
Did you do it weekends as well?
No,
No, finished on Saturday. You didn't work on Saturdays, did we?
Did you work on Sunday?
No, no.
So
Sunday.
weekend Monday.
Yeah,
all the
Sunday.
family used to come down at
All the
weekends.
dads used to come down.
My dad used to come down
Was it
on
just the
Saturday.
women
Oh,
Yes.
yes.
And
But
that's
some men, well, most
not
men,
very-
they were working.
Yeah, got.
Yeah,
They
but
got a job. My
at the
dad,
docks.
yeah, my dad worked in the docks. You see, he was a crane driver. He had a good
My
job.
dad used to go
How
out
much
soon.
money would you wear a week?
No, the big cranes they used to have.
Right,
how
My
much
father
would
used
you
to be a crane driver.
How much money would you earn a week?
How much money did they earn a week? How much did we earn at hot picking?
How much did you get
Was
for
it
your
about 6 shillings?
That's
2 bushels a shilling, wasn't it? Yeah,
what I said. And
2
then we,
bushels a shilling.
we-
They used to sub it.
and that's what I'm just saying to the lady. We used to sub that, but we weren't allowed to sub the lot, were we?
Oh,
Because
no.
otherwise we might have gone home, weren't we?
Yeah, you might have gone home and not finished, so you could only sort of sub.
Sum up.
Like right yesterday?
We would have been paid.
Yes.
I had Kelly Bagman, Craig's hands to free, and it runs after me, and I jump to the side, but they go past me. Is that not money?
It was ever such a lot of money, didn't it? Yes, it was a lot, real lot of money. And Mum used to pick them. And do you know what? Who was the pole puller this morning? Well, this is what you would have had to do. Look, come on over here and I'll show you what a pole puller used to do. Did you see this here? Look. That's a pole puller. And he would have to be standing on those big things to put the big wires up in the field. So
They didn't mind if there was a small leak.
that's what they used to do.
But mostly you picked holes. I mean, you can see how big the hole is. When you just put the lines, you see, you pull them up